Now let's dive a little deeper into the understanding of sound vibrations. So we have sound waves, which are wavelengths and amplitude. A period equals time of one cycle, a wavelength, above one cycle from crest to crest. Frequency, the number of cycles a second, above one cycle a second, equals 1 hertz. If you look at the standard tuning that we tune our guitars to, it's 440 hertz. 440 hertz means when you pluck the E string, it'll vibrate 440 times in 1 second. Now that we're getting a better understanding of how frequencies and vibrations are working around us, let's look at why I'm starting off with sound. So Genesis, the King James Version, chapter 1, verse 3, and God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. So before light existed, it was spoken, "Let there be light." It came from the vibration of sound. Light is derived from sound. And we're going to get into this in a little bit and show you how exactly this is happening. Words. Words are amazing. They are so awesome when used properly. When used unconsciously or used improperly, they can have a devastating effect. When words are used properly, they can move a nation. For instance, Patrick Henry, "Give me liberty or give me death," and a nation united and fought for their independence. Abraham Lincoln, 77 years ago, and a nation was reunited. FDR, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself," and that error got a glimmer of hope in the Depression. Martin Luther King, "I have a dream," and because of that dream, many people today are living that dream. Words can inspire, and words can bring people down. If you keep on telling your children every day, "You're not good enough, you can't do it, you'll never amount to anything," what are we utilizing? We're utilizing words to manifest experiences for them, instead of encouraging them, saying, "You're amazing, keep up with it, you're doing great." These words create our whole entire construct of our reality. It's from the ages of 1 to 7 that defines the rest of our lives. There's subconscious processing that's going on within us that we don't even know that are running, that are so old because we were conditioned as children to think a certain way. We're seeing the world through those concepts. So when we talk to each other, the vocal cords of the speaker vibrate, causing the air coming from our lungs to vibrate. This creates sound waves, which then propagate through the air until they hit the listener's eardrums, which then in turn vibrates as well. From these vibrations, the listener can then reconstruct the speaker's word, which are vibrations. So let me give you a quick demonstration. Close your eyes real quick. I love you. You are amazing. You are the best thing that has ever happened to me. You look beautiful today. Now, you make me sick. Don't look at me. Don't talk to me. You can feel the difference instantly when you have these experiences. You can feel a vibrational frequency through a word. It just vibrates through your whole entire body. And all we're doing is talking. We're speaking a word. And that word is drawing upon your emotions to give you that experience. So it's absolutely important to understand the words that you are projecting into the reality. Because the higher the vibrational frequency, the greater and the easier your life will become, because the energy will flow back to you tenfold. What you put in, you get back. So utilize words that are of higher frequency. It's that easy. Just start there. Just start by being conscious of the words that are coming from your mouth and keeping them as high as you possibly can in any given moment, especially about yourself. Your self-talk is the most important talk you will ever talk in your whole entire life. You can inspire a whole world. You can inspire your kids. You can inspire your friends. You can inspire your family. But first, you have to inspire yourself. Get in front of the mirror. Look in the mirror, because guess what? The eyes are the seat of the That's right, the soul. Look into your soul through the mirror and speak high vibrational frequency words and watch what happens. Absolutely amazing things very quickly. For example, spelling. Spell, ing is the suffix, which is the suffix of action. So you have spell, ing. Spelling is the action of magical spells. We manifest our worlds through our thoughts. We project our thoughts with our words. Words are our wands to cast the spells of our thoughts. So once we understand that we have the power to create a magical world through utilization of words, the world truly becomes endless in its potential. And it's up to us to carry the higher vibrational frequencies at all time. It's not up to anyone around us, it's up to us to hold our own integrity of the frequencies that we want to experience. Think about how music moves us. Like you go to a good concert and all of a sudden everyone around you is just vibing, and they're all vibrating at a specific tone to a frequency that's being projected into the atmosphere. It's absolutely amazing just being with your friends and family, listening to music. I'm pretty sure everybody here has seen a movie before. Well, it's the music in the movie that sets the mood. So when you're coming up to a dramatic part in the movie, listen to the music. That music is tweaking your vibrational emotions to either peak up or peak down. If you're watching a scary movie, you're going to hear that scary music in the background, you know what's coming. If you hear that upbeat music, you know what's going to come, a happy moment. And if you hear that sad music in the background, you know what's coming. So we're conditioned through music to manifest feelings. And that's why it's so predominant in commercials, in television shows. It moves people. And when we use high frequency words in our music, along with vibrational frequencies of our instruments, and we put them together, we have songs such as All You Need Is Love from the Beatles. When you hear that song, you just vibrate at this high frequency. Or the song Imagine from John Lennon. It's just absolutely amazing how you feel when you listen to these songs. But what we're talking about are experiences that we're having internally based on vibrational frequencies from instruments and words being sung or spoken that are giving us an experience internally within us. So let's look at making sound visible, cymatics. I absolutely love cymatics. Once I came across this, it blew my mind, opened my mind up to seeing vibrations in a whole new light. So Hans Jenning, 1904 to 1972. In 1967, Jenny published the first volume of Cymatics, The Study of Wave Phenomena. The second volume came out in 1972, the year he died. This book was written and photographic documentation of the effects of sound vibrations on fluids, powders, and liquid paste. He concluded, "This is not an unregulated chaos. It is a dynamic but orderly pattern." Meaning, everything around us is not happening chaotically just by chance. There is a divine blueprint that is manifesting and can be reproduced over and over and over again. In this next clip, it's a trailer from Hans Jennings' Bringing Matter to Life with Sound documentary.
The film you're about to see has no characters, it has no people. It is a film to describe to you and explain visually the effect of cymatic frequencies on texture, structure, water, oil. If you spare a little of your imagination as you watch this film as it runs, you will see many things that answer many questions. You will see living forms, living amoeba, almost animal-like creatures. You will see continents being formed, the earth itself coming into existence, explosions, eruptions, atomic explosions and bombs. You can see all this and watch it before your eyes. But everything owes its existence solely and completely to sound. Sound is the factor which holds it together. Sound is the basis of form and shape. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. We are told that this is how the worlds began and how creation took shape. If we put that into the modern idiom and say that into the great voids of space came a sound and matter took shape. Please watch carefully.
So I love that part with the living amoeba, right? You see this little thing dancing around. It reminds me of like when we go to a concert. What are we doing? We're all like having a good time. We're dancing around. It's the movement of the energy that's moving us. We're just like that living amoeba, right? That's moving across the ground there. Moving because of the vibrational frequency that's underneath the ground. But when we play the instruments, we're having this amazing experience inside of us that we just have to dance and sing along, right? It's so cool when you really look into how sound is working. This next clip is awesome. It shows you that the higher the sound frequency becomes, the more complex the patterns become, showing us that higher frequencies have more complex patterns within them. What we're looking at here is music made visible. Music made visible utilizing cymatics. So what we're looking at is the first octave from A to G sharp. And you can see that each note has its own specific pattern that is reproduced time and time again through our instruments and through our voices. Now let's look at the cymatics of the human voice producing vowels. I love this video here because what it's showing is sacred geometrical shapes coming to life through utilizing our voices. Pretty cool, right? What we're looking at here is a two-dimensional representation of a three-dimensional sacred geometrical pattern. This pattern is called Metatron's cube. Metatron's cube comes from the flower of life, and from the flower of life to Metatron's cube come the platonic solids. The platonic solids are what makes up everything in our reality. We're going to get more in depth into Metatron's cube, the flower of life, and the platonic solids later on in the course. Lookalikes in nature. 963 Hertz. Vibrations of this frequency create rotating movement. And if you look at the pattern that's being formed inside of this rotation, this pattern is represented throughout all of nature. You can see it here in a daisy. You can see it in the middle of a sunflower. You can see it in a lotus, in the flower of life, and you can see it above our heads in the dance between Mars, Venus, and the Sun. This is the pattern they take throughout 365 days. This pattern is the rotational movement that is identical to this, and this. The man who found the cure for all diseases through prime resonance, Royal Raymond Rife, discovered that each cell in our body has a harmonic vibrational frequency, and when that frequency is lowered, it goes into a state of dis-ease. So he designed this device to bring any cell that is in dis-ease back to its harmonic state through prime resonance, utilizing sound technology. Anthony Holland, just like Royal Raymond Rife, devised a machine that could help people cure themselves through sound. This cancer treatment technology was developed with sound waves. Associate Professor and Director of Music Technology at Skidmore College in New York, Anthony Holland was the brain behind the research team that discovered that sound waves can kill cancer cells. I mean, how cool is this? We can kill cancer cells with utilizing sound. And yet here we are utilizing pharmaceutical medications that are creating more harm than good, when we can be utilizing sound to completely remove all the discord in our bodies, bringing it back to harmony. Not only can sound change the molecular structure of our cells, but sound can change the molecular structure of inanimate objects as well, such as stone, as demonstrated by Edward Leeds Skillnan, who created Coral Castle in Florida. He utilized sound technology to move these rocks from point A to point B. In this next clip, I'm going to give you a demonstration of how this may have been possible.
I'd like to show you an example of levitating small objects with sound waves. Let me just remind you how a loudspeaker works. It's just a diaphragm that repeatedly pushes on the air, producing high pressure waves that move away. And that's what we have here with this little gizmo. It does the same thing, except it's at a very high frequency, 28,000 hertz, which is way above our human hearing range. So these sound waves move upward, and up above I have a glass plate which is going to reflect the sound back down again. And when the distance between the glass plate and the loudspeaker is just right, then those sound waves that are moving down will interfere constructively with the sound waves coming up and give us regions of high pressure and low pressure which don't move around. They stay in one spot. And it's in those high pressure zones that I'm going to try to levitate a small ball. So let me turn on the power, and even though I can't hear it, I'm still going to use ear protection. As I said before, the distance between the reflector and the loudspeaker is just right. If I change it, and which I'm going to do, you'll see that this standing wave disappears and the balls are no longer suspended there. We've now set up the little loudspeaker and the reflector in front of this mirror, which is part of our Schlieren optic setup. And the purpose of that is to be able to actually see where there are regions of high pressure and low pressure in the air, especially the air between the reflector and the loudspeaker. So let me turn up the volume, and before I do that, I will put on my protective hearing. And if I adjust the height of the reflector, there's a point at which you see bands of white, light, and dark. This is the standing wave, and it only happens when the distance between the reflector and the speaker is some multiple of a half a wavelength. So every single one of those bands is a half a wavelength. If I go up a little higher, then it disappears again, but if I continue to go higher, then it will come back when I'm at another half a wavelength, a multiple of a half a wavelength away. Now, it's in these bands that I'm going to place the little balls. And you can see the little ball settles down where there's a bright band, and that is the high pressure area. And I know it's a high pressure because you see there's a white band right next to the reflector, which is where the highest pressure will be. If I, again, change the height, the standing wave goes away and the little balls will fall down.
Sonoluminescence, star in a jar. Sonoluminescence is the emissions of short bursts of light from imploding bubbles in a liquid when excited by sound. So if you remember back when I referred to Genesis in the beginning, when it stated, God said, "Let there be light," I believe this is a beautiful representation of how light can be made visible through sound vibrations.